Good morning, everyone. Have any of you ever wondered what it may have been like to grow up in a foreign country, perhaps Ireland? Ireland's style of education includes specific levels of schooling, and along with this, they have a vast range of sports. Both of these subjects being able to relate and refer to the American culture. So today I'm going to talk about the specific levels of schooling within Ireland and the popular and most played sports within Ireland. It's obvious that we can all relate to school. For most of us here, our main priority right now is school. So we can all relate to this subject. According to government copyright, the levels of education within Ireland is early childhood, primary education, post-primary education, higher education, and further education and training. Starting with early childhood, we can relate to this as our preschool, and within early childhood, it's optional until the age of 6, though 40% of 4-year-olds and most of 5-year-olds join before the age of 6. Next is primary education, which we can relate to as our elementary. And their elementary is state funded, and it's an 8-year cycle. They call their kindergarteners junior infants and their first graders through 6th graders senior infants. Next level is post-primary education, which we can relate to as our middle school and our high school. And the first section of this level is called lower secondary, being their middle school, and the next is upper secondary, being their high school. And at the end of this, they have to take college entrance exams, which we can relate to as our ACT and SAT. Though within Ireland, this is the only test that they take throughout their whole schooling lives. So it's a lot more stressful to them, and it weighs a lot more on their future. So after post-primary education, there's 2 directions that Ireland individuals can go into, which is either higher education or further education and training. Higher education is obviously their college, and within this higher education, they offer art and design, medicine, business studies, rural development, theology, music, and law. Further education is training is for young school leavers or adults that come back that had never finished their high school. I would also like to add that uniform is in all schools in Ireland, and they do not prohibit religion within all schools, even public schools. Okay, so raise of hands. How many of you have ever or grew up playing sports, or maybe still do play sports? Okay, so we can all relate to sports, obviously. So now let's imagine if we were to have grown up in Ireland, maybe which sport you would have played. So the favorite sports in Ireland are hurling, Gaelic football, soccer, equestrian, golf, and rugby. Being that we already understand soccer, golf, and rugby, I'm going to go over hurling, Gaelic football, and equestrian. So hurling is Ireland's ancestry sport, which came in the 1800s, and this is a sport where players play with a 3 to 4 foot stick, and they hit a hurling ball from village to village, and it's known as one of the world's fastest sports, and they still play it in Ireland today. Next is Gaelic football, which derived from hurling, but is more like soccer, and it's on a smaller field, and you have unlimited hand touches. And equestrian is the racing and jumping of horses, and this is so well known in Ireland because Ireland is known for the best horses on the globe. I'd also like to add that Ireland also has the sports that are most popular in the United States like football, baseball, soccer, basketball, volleyball, they're just not as popular. So here's some pictures of hurling, the equipment you would use, them playing. That's Gaelic football and equestrian. So in closing, the Irish schooling consists of 5 levels of education that seem to relate to America's and many sports that can be uncommonly known in America, but some of the same ones as well. So ask yourself, if you were to have grown up in Ireland instead of the United States, do you think you would have made it to the higher level of education? And which sports do you think you may have played? Gaelic football for the funds of Ireland, or equestrian to be around the horses all day. Thank you.